And tonight we are less than 48 hours away to the final funeral rites of the 6 who perished in that helicopter crash. 2 of them have already been buried, and altogether 8 of them perished exactly a week ago today. So today we have a special tribute show from those who worked with them, who knew them, friends. They'll join us to share the thoughts of the 8 who died. We'll see some very unique stories we've not heard so far, about the 8 lives who perished exactly a week ago today. And then on Friday morning, you want to join us here on the Join Us channel from 8 a.m. as we bring you the burial of the 6 of the 8. Because we know that there's going to be a state funeral for them at the Independence Square, and we'll be there for you. But as you know, we've had from across the world the pouring in of tributes to those who perished in that crash. And you know them. Dr. Manib obviously gone exactly a week ago today. A good friend of his, Murtala Mohammed, was seated right beside him, and we've seen the last footage of him in white in the helicopter, taking off and waving. He waved at us as if he knew what was going to happen. That was the last he was seen of until that Z9 took off and crashed shortly thereafter. He also went, as we now know, with Muniru Mohammed, the acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, and also the young gentleman, Samuel Abaji, who had just recently contested and lost the seat, the parliamentary candidate in Obuasi, also gone. And then, of course, you know Samuel Sapon. A lot has been said about him already in the last 1 week. But then we also have 3 additional heroes who served the Ghana Armed Forces with distinction. We've already seen the stories of those who work with them. We've seen their own stories, some of them captured in video, of their dedication. And they really were one of the most qualified you can find in the Ghana Armed Forces, the entire Ghana Armed Forces. They died in the line of duty. And tonight, we will spend some time remembering them ahead of that funeral, at the state funeral on Friday morning. Squadron leader, Bafemi Anala, you know him. He is perished now on the back of that crash. And then you have flying officer Martin Chuman Peru. And then you have Ernest Addo, sergeant, who also died in that plane crash. But there have been a few heartfelt tributes coming in to all these gentlemen who died over the last few days. Top of that list is the Pope himself, who took some time to share a prayer for the people of Ghana and for those who died. He talks about the fact that the Holy Father assures Ghana of his spiritual closeness at this difficult time, and that is indeed important. He expresses his condolence for the deaths of the ministers and everybody else who died. The family will need that. We also have heard from our friends from the United States. We've heard from Christopher Landau, who is the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, who shared a few words with us also. Condolences, he says, to the people who perished on that flight. And Ghana is indeed mourning. He had made the point that Ghana and the U.S. are friends, and we are friends indeed, and that they stand with the Ghanaian people throughout this period of mourning. We thank the United States of America dearly. In times like this, you need close friends. One of our closest allies, friends, have been the United States, but also have been the United Kingdom. And we saw Harriet Thompson, who is the British High Commissioner to Ghana, also lean in and express her condolence. Deep condolences indeed from the people of the United Kingdom. She says her thoughts are with the families and the friends of the deceased. And then we've also seen, still from the international community, the European Commission Vice President also coming in with her own tribute. But she singled out their dedication, that we learned from her how deeply committed they were to the Ghana-EU partnership, which has been a very important partnership indeed. And so it wasn't a surprise that she talks about the heartfelt condolences to Ghana and to the bereaved families. We've also heard of, obviously, from the High Commission of India, and I'm pretty sure you know that Modi himself was in Ghana recently on an official state visit with our president, John Dramani Mahama. And so we're not surprised when we heard this, that extending this heartfelt condolences to us following this very tragic incident. And India is mourning with us. We've also heard from the UN President, Resident Coordinator. It's also been very loud in mourning with us. At this time of tragedy, you need friends, and they've been very close. And he put it accurately that this tragedy is a national wound and a loss felt across the international community. And boy, he is right. Closer home, here on the continent, we have from the African Union chairperson, who has also given a condolence. And he talks about the African Union standing in full solidarity with Ghana. That is indeed what you expect from friends and from neighbors. And right here, our neighboring West African countries have also obviously reached out and expressed condolences. We have from the ECOWAS president. It is with profound sorrow that they received the news exactly a week ago today. And the ECOWAS extends its deepest condolences to Ghana and the bereaved families. So tonight we're mourning. But it's a tribute show, so we're going to be hearing from those who knew them. Some of the things you hear will put a smile on your face because it tells you their commitment, their dedication, that they really lived a life of dedication, a life of service, and they died in service of their country, primarily. And sometimes we bandy the phrase about died in the line of duty. They indeed died in the line of national duty. And tonight, friends, colleagues who work with them will join me as we remember them. And you want to stay with us for that as we look ahead to the final funeral rites for 6 of the 8 on Friday morning. I guess you'll join me after this. And thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express, and welcome to our tribute show with less than 48 hours to go before the final funeral rites for 6 of the 8 who perished in that helicopter crash. It is a state funeral, and we're going to be there for you. Tonight, we're bringing together friends, loved ones, and colleagues just to get a sense of who they were, but also pay tribute to the fallen, as you've seen the tributes pouring from around the world. And thank you very much for staying with us. PMS is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Academic Times and Pepsodent Cavity Fighter toothpaste. If you're talking about water tanks, you have to know that there is only one secret. It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it is not the correct tank. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like the tortoise. 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of the 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tanks, a strong, a tough. Also, the Academic Times Journal is launching soon with 3 distinctive graphic publications and a journal that will showcase, as you know, and also empower students across all educational levels. With the journal and the tertiary G, it seeks to ensure that tertiary students' research makes an impact by contributing to institutional and national development. So look out for it when they've launched. But every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to decay gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night, as in tonight before you sleep, with Peptide and cavity fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving you with 10 times stronger teeth. Peptide and every smile matters. And my guest joining me this evening for this conversation, Dominic Nitiwul, is a former defense minister. He is the immediate past defense minister, and so Dr. Manib succeeded him. And I'm delighted that he can join us with some thoughts on the man, Dr. Manib. And I'm pretty sure that they had relations deep into the new administration because of the handing over that needs to happen. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Dr. Manib. Tanko Rashid Computer is the acting CEO of GIFEG and also the Deputy Director, Elections IT of the NDC. It is that last position that he most served intimately with Dr. Manib, and he's joining me in the studio now as we all look forward to Friday's final rites, where we bid them farewell, finally. Reverend joining team, Forjo is the MP, ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee, and I'm pretty sure he may have also worked closely because his committee had supervisory jurisdiction over the Defense Ministry, and I wonder if he also knew him. The thing that I like about this panel is that they're the politicians, but you will notice that they all united in grief. It tells you, and they share very intimate knowledge of friends who are no longer there. It gives you a certain sense of the friendly banter relations that exist beyond the very public, sometimes bickering that you see. They are very close friends when the cameras are not rolling. And that is one that we need to tap in as a country. I mean, the unity is there. We just need to find it. James Agaga is another politician. He's the chair of the Defense and Interior Committee, also joining me. Osechi Mensah Bongsu used to be the former Majority Leader, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. He will also join. And then Dr. Mark Oliver will also join us later. Mark Oliver Kevo, Acting Director of the General of the National Information Technology Agency, NDC Eastern Regional Chairman too, will join for a conversation. I want to bring in now Dr. Rashid Tanko Rashid, who's in the studio with me. And a week ago today, Tanko, is when this tragedy happened. It's shocking to think that it's been a week already. And because I woke up this morning, just like everybody else, and I'm pretty sure a week ago this morning, Dr. Manib had also woken up like all of us and had gone to the office, was driven to the Air Force Base and flown. And we've seen the footage that was released by the press corps of the Ghana Armed Forces, where he was seated at the back and waving as before the flight took off. It's really shocking to know that a week ago, exactly today, this tragedy happened.
Evans, let me say good evening to you and the cherished viewers and my co-panelists for tonight's tribute. In fact, we are still processing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although it's almost a week. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you think it's some movie that we are trying to put out. It doesn't make sense and it doesn't look real until when the president addressed the nation. That was the time it dawned on me that it was really true that we lost our gallant men who died in action. It was terrible, Evans. Because looking at the personalities involved in the crash, in fact, the 5 state officials and then the 3 army officers, they were all high-level personnel. Because if you look at the pilot and if you look at his credentials and all that, they were not mean people. I mean, these were experienced Air Force guys who were selected to fly VVIP personnel like that. And losing them at this moment was a national tragedy. But that day till Friday, Evans, I've never experienced this kind of...
Where were you when you first heard it?
In fact, in the morning, we had meeting with Dr. Manib.
In the morning?
In the morning, at 7. We had close discussion.
In person or this was virtual?
I mean, mostly he does his meeting virtual.
Okay.
He was a type who wants to use that maximize time instead of we coming together, sitting down. Let's use the social media platform to do our discussion. So most of our meetings were held virtually. Run out to the election. He started the day we were appointed. We had our first meeting in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, candidate then, office. That was the day I got to know that NPP were out for trouble. This election we're going in the next year. You know, we're appointed in 2023. Yeah. That morning, we had this meeting around 7:45, and he was giving us strategies how to go about the Akotia thing. My colleague Madi was to take the lead to go and meet Kevo, Dr. Kevo, who is the chairman of
and he will join
yes,
us.
And then the organizer. And I was to stay back to do certain things with the EC and all that. And they have Yaira and Dr. Taboatin to also take care of certain things. He gave us all this strategy because Dr. Manib was a master planner. All these things that we're doing, he was behind it. You sit down, put pen and paper together, map up the strategy, and say, you go and handle it, you handle this, you handle this, and sit back. And we'll go and bring him A+. That is how he was. So that morning, we had finished all these things, and we were to report back to him by evening. But he didn't tell us that he was traveling. None of us knew he was going to travel.
Oh, so he didn't disclose at the time?
No, he didn't disclose the itinerary, that he was going anywhere. We didn't even know. It was when the meeting finished, then I got to my office, and that was around 10:30 to 11. Then I got a call from a general from the Ghana Armed Forces, a very good friend of mine. And he told me that this is what happened, and that my boss was involved. I nearly collapsed. The phone just fell from my hand. I said, how? And my aides had to come and help me. So I was, just the way I was, they realized something was wrong. But I didn't want to tell the office that this was happening. So I just asked that they should carry me to India High Commission. They are my friends. I want to go there and do something. So even the driver didn't understand what was going on. I said, Master, just go, just go. It just didn't make sense. Because somebody you have just finished, I still open the thing and look at it and say, so this man is gone with his fine brains, with his master planning. Where are we going to get this from again?
And one of the things we'll do tonight is to talk about their legacies and some of the things that you credit him with. I'm curious to know the journey into the elections and the victory. I know you said his master plan. I think we had a lot. But specifically, what is it that Dr. Manib did that made you recognize him as the one who really masterminded that victory? And we'll talk about the others pretty shortly. And I want to bring in the immediate past Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwul, who is joining us too. Mr. Nitiwul, Dr. Manib, did you know him? Were you close? Please unmute for me.
Let me say a very good evening to your cherished listeners as well as your panelists. Generally, I'm very close to each of your panelists. You know that I've worked with Honorable Reverend Tim Fojo for long. He's my colleague in Parliament. Honorable Agaga, I've been with him in Parliament for the past, I think, 16 years, either 12 or 16 years, been my ranking in Defense and Interior for the last 8 years. Computer is actually my constituent as well. So all the people so far who are on board, and my former leader is also going to come. But today is a very sad date because I never thought for once that I will be giving the tribute to somebody who have handed the baton over. I'm still in shock.
I mean, I was just wondering whether you knew Dr. Manib closely. Is he somebody that you call a friend?
I'll come to that.
Okay.
I knew Dr. Manib in 2000 and either 3 or 4 when he became the next president.
Okay.
I knew him because he contested my cousin. For the two of them, they were the leading contestants, and my cousin lost him. So I've known him since that time, and we've been friends. We speak. Not many people know that side of us. But we got even more closer when the president nominated him. In fact, we got closer when he was a part of the transition team. And literally, he was the one who I worked with on the security aspects. And I was cheering from outside. He was also cheering. So we're the co-chairs. And so we worked essentially together in the entire thing. And I think Computer's right. He's a very sharp young man. And he's not that type of politician who likes to drag things. Simple, short, straight to the point. That's how he is. And that's what I saw in working with him. And so the times that we went through, my handing over notes, the issues about the armed forces, I put all the issues with him. I told him that this is going on, these are the issues, these are the issues. He read through the handing over notes, the areas that he couldn't, he had some difficulties. He asked me, he brought a few people, I sat with them, a few retired generals, we sat together, we looked at all the issues. But I'm saying that, and if I don't say this, I will not be happy. I'm really, really sad. I'm very sad for all of them, not just him. Murtala, because I'm almost always with Murtala in Parliament, I still don't believe that it has happened.
Yeah.
Even though I know, we all have to come to the realization that that is the truth. But it's still like I'm in a dream, I'm dreaming, and maybe I'll wake up and realize that it's not true. But to think that all of them, Manib, Murtala Mohammed, those I know personally, I will never see them again. It's difficult to comprehend. It's very, very difficult to comprehend.
It's absolutely shocking. And somebody like Murtala, you will never forget Murtala when you encounter him. He's just very passionate. His passion is infectious.
I see Murtala every time. We are always talking, and two, it's never even dawned on me that he'll even be part of such a trip. It's very difficult to connect the dots. And unfortunately, to even know the story behind how he joined the heli is even making me think that it's not real. Because originally, he was not supposed to be on the heli. He was supposed to be on African World. For some reason, because Mutaka couldn't go, or Mutaka told them at the last minute that he has a meeting with the finance minister, then Murtala came to join. And we have the problem that we have today. But I'm saying that this is a funeral for the entire nation.
Yeah.
In fact, all members of parliament, all ministers, and even all high-ranking people, you remember the tribute we gave to the late musician Daddy Lumba in parliament. Yeah. But I'm saying the manner in which this happened, I think that all of us must put politicking aside. I've seen some people trying to do politicking. I mean, literally forcing me to come out and talk and speak. But I've refrained from doing that. I've been very, very careful. I've told them point blank, I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to do anything until all the funerals are over. Because look, it's very painful to know that you are just going to work and you are going to serve the nation. That president has given you a position and that you are going to serve the nation. You are just going to work. You told your wife, oh, I'm going, I'll come back in the evening, make a dinner for me or make a lunch for me, or we're going to have this meeting, or I'm going to call you around 11 o'clock. And from by 9:50, you are gone. It's sad. My case is even worse because I was the middle pass minister.
Yeah.
And I've used these aircrafts for the last 8 years.
You mean the Z9 is something you've flown regularly?
I've said I have flown in the Z9 for not less than 5, 6, 7 times.
Okay.
In fact, the very one that they are using is normally we dress it in the VIP farm. So when you go, they put a red carpet and that kind of stuff for the VIPs and they use. I flew with it. The last time I flew with it from Bolga to Bimbila. It was raining. We had to make a U-turn because the pilot told me, Minister, it's raining. I cannot land in Bimbila. It's dangerous for us to land. So if we can make a U-turn and go back. And I agreed. We went back, landed in some village, and they came to pick me up and that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is, it doesn't look real to me. It doesn't look real to me. We'll look at the issues. We'll look at what happened. But it is so sad to think that a good friend like Manib, Murtala, who is, I will use the word, very, very good friend to me, and he's one of the few who will call you and say, look, my brother, I'm with you. If it's wrong, he'll point out to me that, look, you are wrong like this. I think this is not good, but I'm with you. Let's work together. We all have to work together. To think that you are never going to see them again is really, really sad. And I'm calling on the nation to ignore people who are trying to do politics for now.
Yeah.
Maybe in future we may try, but for now, people should ignore and let's mourn these people. It is not, let's unite and mourn them. After the barrier, let's mourn them. Let's give respect to the families. Let's give respect to the what they did, the services they gave. Let's give respect to what they stood for and how they went. It is so shocking, it's so sad. And I, as I said, I'm still in denial, but I met the president with the former vice president when we called on him, and he said something, and it is right. We have to come to the realization that it is true. We cannot continue to deny the fact. At the end, two have been buried on Sunday, Friday, we do the funeral for the other two. So we have to realize that it is a true thing. But I look and say, could it have been me? Because I was using these very aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, and I wonder, you know the thing they say, the survivor's guilt. Seeing that this is a helicopter and an aircraft you used quite frequently, and then the very next time your predecessor takes over, your successor takes over, he crashes and dies and burns. That must hit you differently.
I believe it hits me more differently than many people, because some people actually use my picture. I know many people were crying in my constituency because they thought it was me. Okay. A lot of them still don't even know I'm not. They know I'm not defense minister, but they still associate me as if I'm defense minister. People are calling from abroad. People are sending me messages. You have to thank God. You have to go to church. Several messages. Everybody will call you and say, the first person that came to mind was you. So I'm saying that if I look at myself, I say, hey, do I have to thank God? I cannot. Because if I thank God for my life, what about those who are gone? Yeah. The truth of the matter is that it is something we all have to mourn. It's a big natural tragedy. And we should use this to come together. There are some things that we did in the past that were simply wrong. But for some reason, we're not able to come together and say that this is wrong. As we go on, these things, I'll point them out to the public. And I think that with this, the public will support us in trying to do that. Military, let me use the word. When it comes to issue of the military, I expect the people of Ghana to be one and one only. The people of Ghana must make sure that when it comes to issues of the military, what they need, what they have to do, because these are boys who are flying these aircrafts every day. The risk we are facing, we are talking about today, they face this risk every single day. I look at the faces of the pilots. Anytime they are flying, I'm like, whew.
Did you meet and interact with any of those three crew members when you were defense minister?
I know Peter.
Okay.
The squadron leader. And for him to have to be a squadron leader, which is the equivalent, I mean, many people know a major. Many people know what major is. So it's easy to link up what a major is. For the Air Force, when you say squadron leader, many people don't understand, but it simply means a major in the army. So for him to have been from lieutenant, trained as a pilot for over 12 years of flying, he has a lot of experience. I've met him. I've flown with a lot of them. And this aircraft is actually stationed in Takrade. It's not stationed in Accra because it's a Ghana Gas aircraft.
Okay.
Ghana Gas bought it for their pipeline surveillance. And it was initiated during President Mills' time, but then on the 23rd of September 2015, President Mahama actually commissioned it for the Ghana Armed Force to be using. So literally, anytime, for example, they're servicing the Ghana Gaza will give the MOD, which is Ministry of Defense, the money to do the servicing and all the kind of things that they need to do and make sure it's done. In fact, those aircrafts are due for servicing this year, but they are still allowed to fly anyway. But this year, they will take the 3 that are left to go and do the service. And one actually had a problem in 2019 or 2020 en route from Daboya in the north to Tamale. Okay. My military generals were on it. It came down just like how this one came down. But this all survived. We left that aircraft because it was, I would say a write-off, but it was badly damaged. So this is not the first time it has happened. But we made sure that we kept all of them in good shape. So, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah,
all
I mean, and that's a story that we will definitely return to. Please stay with me,
I'm sure. But for now, I just want to say that I'm deeply sorry about what happened.
Yeah.
My condolences to the entire families, especially the immediate families of these people. Can you imagine for a second? I just want the people of Ghana to imagine for a second if you were the wife and children And sometimes the way I used to move in the mornings, my children may not even see me. They are still sleeping, especially now that they're on holidays. And then you are moving. You will not even goodbye them, and you don't come back. Can you imagine the pain they are going through?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what the wife is going through? She was lying with her husband, and that morning, and then by 2-3 hours time, she's told that the man is no more, and she will not even see him. It's so heart wrenching. It's
It is.
so heart. I mean, if you are not careful, you will get a heart attack.
Yeah,
So we
it
need
is.
to give them real psychological support. I hope somebody is doing that. The families need to be given psychological support. And Omande in particular, because the mother, he's the only child of the mother. I looked at the mother the day I went to the house, and I started sharing tears because I have a few idea about the relationship between he and his mother. You know, that their family history. We have a mutual friend, Gertrude Boatin, and so we talk. The three of us talk. The three of us, he, myself, and Gertrude Boatin, because we are all mutual friends. So we talk. So we have some few issues that I know about his family, and I can only say that people must give the mother all the necessary support she needs, whether it's financial support, whether it's prayer support, moral support, but for their souls, everybody in Ghana should give them a prayer on the day they will be buried.
Absolutely. And Dominic,
that's all they did.
Dominic, please stay with me. Let me bring in the former majority leader who's also joining us right now, Chairman Sabongsu. The Chairman Sabongsu, thanks for joining this tribute show. And you are a very experienced politician, and I'm pretty sure that in your circles, you may have interacted, met, dealt with many of those who lost their lives exactly a week today. What did you know about them?
Thank you very much, Evans. And I think this is a tragedy of monumental proportion that really afflicted the entire nation. The three of them, Dr. Manib, Dr. Mutala, and Dr. Sapon. Sapon, a former Minister of State, Mutala, a current Minister of State, and Dr. Manib, former Minister of State and as well current Minister of State. They are ministers of state. Which state are you talking about? The state of Ghana, the Republic of Ghana. And so they are ministers of the Republic, even though they are ministers on account of the fact that they belong to the NDC. They are ministers for the Republic of Ghana. And so the tragedy is afflicting the entirety of the nation called Ghana. That's why I deem it appropriate, the call by compatriots that nobody should attempt to politicize this. Dr. Manib, I knew personally, very versatile a personality, former a medical officer, former minister responsible for communications, and now in charge of defense for the country. That indicates to anybody assessing him that is a man of great versatility. Personally, we've known each other for quite some time now, ever since he came into political limelight. And we have been, having conversations on occasions. And any time that we bump into each other, it's always a joke that we share. He's one person that you may, even when you disagree with, you can't pick up a quarrel, with him, because you will end up, making a joke of, even if it's a big issue, and lighting the conversation. That is, or that was, Dr. Manib. Murtala Mohammed, I got to know because he was in Parliament with me. When he first came to Parliament, one would say a bit loud, but Murtala has been maturing as a legislator, lately. and I commend him for that. Indeed, he is now, earned or been awarded a PhD. Now, the thesis that he submitted in the lead up to the award of the doctor's degree, he came and sat with me for close to 3 hours on 2 different occasions, 2 different days, and interviewed me. And, I poured out to him what I thought was, aspects of good governance. And he told me that he was going to give me a copy of his thesis. I never got to have the copy until, this tragedy that befell him, and indeed has befallen the country, as I have said. Dr. Sapon, he became the KMA chief executive. He was made KMA chief executive. Many times when we have chief executives who belong to different political parties from that of the members of parliament, some schisms develop. Not so with Dr. Sapon when he came to KMA. And on occasions when I went to him to make some requests, just to tell you that, but the request is in sync with our own agenda. Just submit your request, write a letter to that effect. On occasions, he will sit you down. You, ever since I became the KMA chief executive, you've not come for us to have a conversation going forward as to how to develop Kumasi. And sometimes you sit down for some 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. As a regional minister, one day he called me and we had this same conversation. And I told him that one of the best regional ministers that we have had in the region is Mr. Kujuyanka of NDC stock.
I see.
And he came with his own development agenda. So I was saying to him to take a cue from what he did. To date, Otumfuo de Asantehene eulogizes Kujuyanka for his great performance in Ashanti region, even though, as I said, I'm on the other side of the political divide. So we had this conversation that you have a plan, you should have your own focus.
And how did he take that advice?
Well, for the regional minister's position, he didn't stay there for too long, but those were initial discussions that we had. A very affable personality, the 3 of them. And for the military officers, they are military officers, they belong to the armed forces of Ghana. Training military personnel takes a while and is very involving, very expensive. In a flash, we have lost all of them.
Yeah.
And they all perished in pursuit of a charge for Ghana that they were keeping. That's a tragedy of monumental proportions.
Yeah.
And I think that the nation should be mourning them. Unfortunately, the vessel that they were using for the armed forces is not insured. And so they cannot expect anything from insurance, which is why the families, nuclear families in particular, but of course, for those of them who have surviving parents, we should also involve them, their siblings.
Yeah.
The entirety of the nation. Parliament has lost a great debater in the person of Dr. Mutala and the rest of them. I understand the other person, the immediate parliamentary candidate.
Yes, Samuel Abuaje.
Yes, somebody was telling me that he's a brother to, I think, the regional secretary also to MPP in, I think, the Northeast or the Northern region. You see how families operate.
Absolutely.
He is on one side of the political divide, and he is his brother
on the other side.
On the other side. It's the joy that we should have as a nation if we have such, such experiences. Unfortunately, some people overindulge themselves in what I would call petty politicking.
Yeah.
For instance, when this happened and I visited Aguna in the Ashanti region and asked those of them who had assembled there to rise up for us to pray for the souls of these people. We left the place and somebody went and used your logo, the logo of Joy FM, Joy News.
Yeah.
That I had said that to hell with them, more or less, that we in the MPP don't care. How callous, how insensitive could a fellow Ghanaian be amidst such tragedy? You don't even consider what you are yoking your friend with, your colleague with. You don't consider the effect on the family. Do you have a conscience to engage in such a matter?
Yeah.
Of course, not all Ghanaians behave the same way. But really, I would not even suggest that this came from the NDC, that is our political opponents. I would have gotten to know that it came from an MPP person.
I see.
How callous, how shameful can such a person be?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Does he have a conscience? Amidst such a tragedy. So, Evans,
Yeah.
this is something that should really agitate the sensibilities of all of us.
I mean, but also you make a very important, but also something must unite us. And if this doesn't, I mean, and I'm just listening to the Dominic Nitiwul, who says he used that same helicopter many times. He has that guilt now. He feels the pain very, very raw.
I have used it.
You also have used it. Yes. You also have used it. I mean, I guess the bigger point that makes is that it could have been any one of you.
It could have been anyone.
Irrespective of whether you are NDC or MPP.
Evans, that very day, I was to have gone to New Adubiase for something. I asked some colleagues to go and then discharge that responsibility whilst I stayed at Bekwai. I got to the Bekwai, the program was to start at 9. They got there at exactly 5 minutes after 9. Upon alighting from their vehicle, they then saw a very low flying helicopter. And they thought, because the weather was not good, they thought the pilot was looking for a place, to land. And they were thinking that possibly he was looking to land at the football field of New Adubiase High School. But just when it was approaching the place, it lifted up. It was flying very low, maybe some 100 meters from the ground level. And so they even called me that they've seen this flying very low, and they thought that it was going to land, but it started lifting. So it crossed the road, the main highway at New Adubiase, to the other side. Now, from New Adubiase to Akrofrom, flight time will not take more than 10 minutes. It will take less than 10 minutes, in fact, between 5 and 6 minutes. So when it lifted up, because of the cloudiness, the low-hanging clouds, they lost sight of it.
Okay.
It does appear that not more than 2 minutes after it disappeared from their view, it crashed. And really, to come to terms with that this had happened.
So they saw really? They saw this craft in its final moments.
They saw the craft in the final moments. And when, of course, they didn't know that it has crashed until after about 2 hours, when news came in that this had happened. So they were the first to break the news to me that this had happened.
What a tragedy.
And what a tragedy. What a tragedy. You see, as I said, the military copters are not insured. But given where we are today and the fact that cities are far between and the president and ministers have to travel by these copters, apart from ensuring routine servicing, but of course the armed forces are very spot on when it comes to servicing their vessels.
And Dominic confirmed that it's in tip-top. Dominic confirms it's in tip-top shape, and you're actually due for servicing later this year.
Yes. Has the time come for us, given the fact that they have become more or less passenger planes for
a regular means of transport for VIPs?
A regular means of transport for the president, ministers, and so on. Has the time come for us to consider perhaps ensuring these ones that serve other purposes other than just military purposes? Remember that until the tragedy befell the nation at Accra Stadium, the stadia in the country were not insured. They were not. But then Parliament then took a decision and requested the ministry and the Football Association, the GFA, to start immediately, beginning from the next succeeding year, to insure our stadia. And ever since, we have been doing that. The vehicles of Parliament, for instance, were not insured. In fact, government vehicles often not insured. But taking a cue from what had happened, we then decided, I think it was, was it Speaker Bamford Addo's time, that we should insure the vehicles that we contract loans to purchase, one, and second, also to insure the vehicles that are used to ferry staff and even members of Parliament on occasions when they have to go on working visits to some destinations.
And that there is the lessons that we need to draw. I want to bring in your colleague, James Agaga, who chairs the Defense and Interior Committee. Also joining me, obviously, is a man that he also works with very closely in the Parliament, also joining me with thoughts on this. But James, I mean, that's, you see him there in Team Fojo. But James, very, very quickly on this matter of, this should certainly unite us, right? I mean, what a befitting tribute to the lost souls if this brings us together. But everything I've heard so far, that it's even in the midst of this mourning, we are still finding ways of division.
Evans, thank you very much. And let me extend my deepest condolence to the bereaved families. Yes, indeed, this tragedy ought to unite us rather than divide us. And so it's very unfortunate that some unscrupulous individuals want to cash in on this unfortunate incident to score certain points. Like my former leader, Honorable Osei Chimensa Bonsu, said, I mean, somebody misinterpreted whatever or misrepresented a statement he had made in relation to the unfortunate incident. And it's good that he's used this platform to correct the impression that the person sought to create. But Evans, having said that, as a demonstration of the unity of purpose that persons across the political divide ought to exhibit, I attended the rifling ceremony at the Flagstaff House together with my ranking member, the Honorable Intim Fojo. We were together throughout with Colonel Damois, who is also a member of our committee. We didn't go there as representing NDC or MPP. No, we went there as members of the Defense and Interior Committee. And that is how we ought to conduct ourselves in these very trying moments. So, Evans, I join calls in demanding that we unite and not to show tendencies of division at these difficult moments. Evans, having said that, I knew all the, but for two who are crew members of the aircraft that unfortunately crashed, I knew all the occupants of that aircraft. Let me start with Umani Buama. I have related with Umani Buama since I was school days as friends, contemporaries. And what many people don't know is that when Umani Buama contested the Nooks elections, I was with him.
I see.
In fact, I actually reviewed the statement, or if you like, the manifesto Umani Buama presented as a contender for the Nooks elections. And that is how close we were. Umani never called me by my name, Agalga. He would always call me bro, and that is how we related. In fact, when I became Deputy Minister of the Interior, Umani was Minister for Communications. And because Umani had earlier had a stint, in government as Minister for Environment and even Deputy Minister, I relied on Umani for guidance and mentorship, even though we were colleagues in school. And he never hesitated to support me in that regard. Then fast forward to 2025, Umani becomes Minister for Defense. And I became Minister for, the chairman of the Committee for Defense and Interior, the committee which oversees the Defense Ministry. And so the first thing Umani said to me after he had been confirmed as the minister was to say, bro, you have to help me to succeed. And I said to him that, bro, it is an obligation for me because even when you vied for Nooks elections, I supported you. You remember I reviewed your manifesto and we laughed over it. As soon as he settled down, Evans, I led the Defense and Interior Committee to pay a working visit at the MOD. And Umani took pains and took us through all the challenges that the ministry was confronted with and his own vision and the vision of the Commander-in-Chief, President Mahama, for the armed forces. And we all pledged at that meeting that we're going to support him. I, together with my ranking member and the other members of the committee, pledged our support to ensure that the vision Umani had for the armed forces and, of course, the vision of the Commander-in-Chief comes to fruition. In fact, one of the issues that Umani was very passionate about was his desire to have the armed forces retooled.
And I see that in your statement that on the back of their passing, you are committing the committee to strengthen aviation safety protocols, but also to retool, I think you said here, quote, pledges to honor the memories of the fallen heroes by redoubling the efforts to retool the Ghana Armed Forces to improve its operational efficiency.
Absolutely, Evans, because Honorable Dr. Manib Buama had made it very clear that, look, the three services that make up the armed forces needed to be retooled. And he lamented over the attitude of, successive ministers for finance when it comes to issues to do with, investing in the security sector. And we said, look, this is a matter that all ministers of defense have had to grapple with, including Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, my brother and good friend. And so now that he was minister, it was important for him to get the Minister for Finance to prioritize investments in the security sector. And he gave us the assurance that he wasn't going to relent at all in that regard. And so for me, it's very unfortunate that Dr. Manib Buama did not live to, actualize his vision for the armed forces. But Evans, the best way we can remember Umani is to ensure that that vision is not shattered. Yeah. Whoever chosen to replace Dr. Manib Buama must continue with that vision so that our armed forces is able to fly, our army has all the logistics they require, as well as the Navy. Murtala Muhammad.
Yeah, I mean, just a second on that point. On that point, just hold your thought, because you have your ranking with me. Let me bring him in on that. Mason Fojo, does he, your chair, does he have your support in this, in ensuring this retooling in ultimate memory of Manib?
Yeah, very much so, Evans. My chairman, Honorable Agaga, has the full support of myself and all members on the committee. This is a collective resolve we've made way back even before this unfortunate incident. But a good evening to you, to my respected seniors, Honorable Chairman Sabonsu, Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, of course, my respected chairman of the committee, Honorable Agaga, and my good friend Tanko. And condolences to all bereaved families. Ghana is indeed grieving. This tragic incident is a grief to all of us. We are mourning our fallen heroes, all 8 of them, men of exceptional skill, exceptional patriotism and dedication, who distinguished themselves in every assignment and role given them, even until their last breath. So, Honorable Dr. Manib, Minister for Defense, Honorable Dr. Murtala Muhammad, Dr. Sapong, Squadron Leader Anala, Flight Officer Chumampedu, Sergeant Adumensa, of course, Mr. Abwaje, the Deputy Director General for NADMO, and Mahaji Muniru, the Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. May their souls rest in peace, and our condolences to the bereaved families. This decision to support the retooling of Ghana Armed Forces is a unanimous decision. More than ever before, we need to put partisan interest aside and ensure that we do the needful for the Ghana Armed Forces. The particular meeting my chairman makes reference to was held on the 2nd of July. We're led by the chairman of the committee, Honorable Agaga. All of us paid a working visit to the minister, Honorable Manib, at the Ministry of Defense, where Chief of Defense Staff, all service chiefs were present. Among other discussions we held, notable on the table was retooling, supporting the Ghana Armed Forces with the resources, considering the fact that within a sub-region, they are one of the most underfunded, militaries, and the time had come that we agreed on the critical requirement minimum. I mean, their needs are vast, but we also took cognizance of the modest resources of the state, and then we paid some minimum logistics and requirements from aircraft to armored personnel carriers to surveillance drones to offshore patrol vessels, ammunitions, and some key equipment. And we agreed that we need to find some $1.2 billion to retool them. And this was a commitment, just like my chairman has indicated. And we all pledged that we will go out there and wage strong advocacy, which we started. Unfortunately, this tragic incident occurred. But my personal, interaction with Honorable Manib, the first of it, we appeared on Good Morning Ghana show, hosted by Dr. Randy Abe, sometime in 2017. He wasn't the original NDC panelist to come, but about 30 minutes into the show, the fellow failed to show up, so the calls were made, and quickly he was available around and he drove in. We had very fantastic discussion. We exchanged numbers afterwards. We held personal discussions from that point, even until the Sunday preceding the tragic incident. We're talking, and it's so sad. Dr. Murtala Muhammad is someone who, we worked together in Parliament. He came to meet me at the Department of Political Science on the PhD. So he always met me and said, "Oh, senior," though he's slightly older than me, but because he met me on the PhD program, and anytime we met, we were discussing challenges we're facing and the exciting opportunities around the PhD. I mean, I congratulated him when he graduated, when he got nominated. So he always forcefully debates. Referencing the crew members, these were the crew members had met on occasions and interacted. They are some of the finest you can find in the Ghana Armed Forces and the Air Force. Most of them, listen to the testimonies. They graduated top of their class. Squadron Leader Nala, I'm sure my chairman will have more even to say about him. But from what I've heard, he's the first pilot to have come from Sandema, and very proud son of Sandema, and he left behind a 2-month-old baby. Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, he was the first in his class, graduating from the Royal British Academy 2021. All his intake mates admire him so much. So their competence were endowed with men of exceptional skills, and the particular aircraft that they had that was involved in that tragic incident had been used by the same crew, including Sergeant Adumensa, on a number of occasions for medical evacuation. They had saved lives, but unfortunately they had to lose theirs in the manner they did. Dr. Manib himself, medical doctor, you can imagine the number of occasions he had saved other people's lives. And for all the men involved, in fact, they've contributed greatly in various ways. So we are deeply saddened by their passing. So I agree that what we can do to honor their memories, among other notable things, is to support a bipartisan call to retool the Ghana Armed Forces, all the platforms that our men use, and state officials, the president, and our citizens use for their legitimate assignment. We need to ensure that we retool them and ensure they can fly and return safely, including the presidential jet, which discussion I know after a period of mourning should be taken up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a very important point. And James, very briefly, Agaga, you were about to just tell me your relationship with Murtala, but the rest who also perished, including the officers. Very, very briefly on that.
Well, Evans, like I was saying, Murtala, I entered Parliament with at the same time in 2013. And somehow Murtala lost and staged the comeback. Leader Chairman Sabusu has already made it clear that Murtala was a good debater, and I associate myself with him on that. I mean, he was also very courageous and an avowed Nkrumahist. Anything to do with Osagyefo the memory of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on the floor of the House. Of course, you would expect Murtala to jump to his feet and defend the legacy and the memory of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to the hilt. I mean, he was a close friend of mine, and I still don't believe that Murtala is no more.
Yeah.
Ever, the pilot, like my ranking has indicated, comes from my constituency.
You must have met him.
Of course, yes. In fact, he's related to me.
Oh.
He is related to me. And so his death is a personal loss for me. And like my ranking indicated, one of the...
and this is Anala you're talking about?
Yes, Anala.
Okay, yeah.
Squadron Anala.
Yeah.
So contrary to what some people had to say about him, that he was a novice, Squadron Leader Anala, I mean, if you look at the ranking, system, a squadron leader is equivalent to major. And so for one to go through the ranks and become the squadron leader, he would have done so many years in the armed forces. Brilliant pilot. He was. And so my hearts go to his wife. He has a 2-month-old baby. And in fact, the family is called the Ajengbarok family.
Okay.
The family has gone through a lot. Anala lost a brother of his in the United States only in June. Before then, he had lost a sister. So you can imagine that the same family, lost 3 siblings in a row. That is very painful and sad. Alhaji Lemuna was regional minister in the Upper East region. So we worked very closely. I mean, he and my elder brother, Sylvester, were mates in school. So, I mean, he had some affection for me when he got to know that I was his friend's younger brother. So we related very well throughout the period he served in the Upper East region as minister. And yesterday I was at his home to bid him farewell, even though he had been back earlier. I attended the Adua. The rest of them, Dr. Sapong, I met with, just before the elections, we served on committees together. We had useful interactions. A very gentle soul, by all, stretch of human imagination.
Yeah.
Very soft-spoken, but firm. The rest of them, Honorable Abuaji, was appointed as the deputy coordinator for NADMO. And one of the encounters we had not too long ago, the committee engaged with NADMO, and he was in attendance.
Yeah.
Lately, he's no more.
Yeah, that really is the thing. And I want to come to Tanko. Tanko, we have to find a way to immortalize their memories. We've just heard from the chairman and the ranking on the Defense and Interior that one of the things they will do in ultimate memory of what they stood for is to ensure that they support the cause of retooling the military. Not forgetting that they were on a journey to launch a program to deal with illegal mining. And many who have said that the ultimate tribute to their memory is to win the war against illegal mining so that their death will not be in vain. This is something that you ascribe to?
Yeah, it's one aspect that Dr. Manib was very much passionate. In fact, every time we met and we were talking about party issues, he was interested in this Galamsey business. Remember, there was one community formed in the forest, one of the...
Yes.
Which I
recall.
Yes, he went and made sure that they demolished that community. It was creating havoc in our river bodies and all that. That was one of the first things he did. A lot of people were not monitoring that. Because Omani...
So he was behind the raid that led to the discovery of the place, but also the arrest of the people in the forest.
It was Omani. The man was a master planner. The thing is that Omani was not interested in cameras. That was the type of person he was. He was interested in results. And then when you get the results, that is it. That's why when we won this election and were declared winners...
He's never taken credit for anything.
No. He told us that, look, me, I'm done.
What? And I know you've said that quite a lot.
Yes.
What aspect of this campaign would you credit specifically to him?
Look, when we first met and Omani played a cast for us and told us this is how we are going to combat the election, far back 2023, as soon as we came to office, the issue of collation of resource was our problem in the party.
That's true.
We had that difficulty.
For two successive elections, it's always been a challenge.
And 2020, we had challenges. Omani said, look, we are going to collate this resource and everybody will be shocked how we are going to do it. We are not going to bring any strategy from abroad or any equipment from abroad. We will design the thing ourselves. So when we started and he was doing his mapping and doing the strategy, you're going to do this is how we are going to do it. We came out with a manual. He commissioned me to come out with an election training manual. When I produced the document and sent to him and he looked at it, he used pen and sat down. That was the time I got to know that this man is an institution when it comes to election management. People didn't know. He looked at it critically and said, look, yes, you have the idea, but this is how we are going to do it. This is how we are going to combat it. Then we came out with a manual for the election. That was a game changer. Look, this election results that we collated, it was the brainwork of Dr. Manib. He sat down with our team and then we designed some simple strategy. Simple thing.
How did the body cams part come?
That's why the body cameras thing was a code. So you only need to be a member of us for us to give you the tools to decode the meaning of that body camera. It's not a normal camera that you people are seeing.
Okay.
It's a strategy.
I see.
Yeah, it's just a code that he designed and said, look, midday, when the going is becoming tough, this is the strategy we are going to deploy and confuse the NPP and all that. So as soon as we realized that in the afternoon, things were going the way we didn't want it, we activated that code.
So when the announcement came that...
Yes, activate body cameras. All our men in the field, because we had deployed men from different areas to different places at strategic location, and it was his instrumentality. So you see us pick somebody, a professor or a lecturer somewhere, train them properly, and deploy them to locations outside their jurisdiction, and give them the code that at this point, as soon as you hear the activate the body camera, change the strategy. This is how you should do it.
So this is fascinating. So this activate the body camera is not the actual activation of a physical
cameras, no
camera on your body.
No,
as we know it, as worn by the police.
It's a code.
Okay. And what? So when you activate, what do you do in reality?
Well, let's keep that one for another election, because on the very day, Wednesday morning, when we met and we're talking about Kotia, we wanted to use that one again.
You wanted to activate the camera?
The cameras again. We did it at Ablekuma North, and it worked perfectly for us. Because that thing he designed, that strategy, I'm telling you, MPP, it will take them longer time to understand this.
So activate the body camera
is
a strategy.
It's a strategy. It's
that needs to be activated.
It's just like the blood of Jesus. You know, it's a code. The religious leaders will tell you what it means. If you are not at the high level, you understand. You think it's a normal blood. It's not. It's a code in the Bible that you need to go higher before they can decode it for you. So they activate the body camera. It's a code. You only need to be a member.
What is the code? So if I tell you to activate your body camera, what will you do?
I will activate it, and you see a different computer altogether in the field. The way we will do it. And he will sit one place and just tell us, activate it now. Don't activate it at this time. Do it at this point.
So how do you send a message? WhatsApp or call?
Evan, you wait and see. We'll activate it at Akotia, and we will get the results.
So that is Dr. Manib.
Yes, that was something. Yes, that he brought.
Okay.
And he brought some, in fact, leadership. I'll credit this thing to him. He showed us leadership. Because if you look at, we're 4 in number as his deputies. 2 of us were for election and 2 for IT. He gave us leadership.
Okay, give me a second here. That's a fascinating point. You have 30 seconds to tell me what you think his legacy will be, his ultimate legacy.
Well, the legacy he left with us is that we should respect everybody's view.
Okay.
That's one thing.
You brought everybody in.
That we should respect everybody's view.
Yeah, and let me quickly go to the rest just as we wrap up. And I'm going to go to Ntim Fojo. Mr. Ntim Fojo, I mean, what will be the ultimate tribute in their memory for you? If you want to wrap up for me in a minute, what will be the ultimate tribute in their memory? So please, okay, good. Go on.
Honorable Manib is one such gifted and talented statesman we've had, having distinguished himself even within his 30s as a Minister for Communications, and within a short period, even under 1 year, the transformative plans he had in improving upon the security of this country, his meticulous nature, his affable nature. This country will forever remember him very fondly. For Dr. Murtala, for his dedication to his constituents and to the firm convictions he held, and for all that he stood for and his commitment to saving the environment for future generations. This country will remember him. For the crew, squadron leader Nala, flying officer Achum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ado Mensah, their exceptional skills and patriotism will also be fondly remembered. We have to honor these great men and all the other very noble men who sadly perished.
You say we need to honor them. I think the fundamental question is, how do you do that? What would you say in a second?
So three things. One of the things we have to do is to ensure we win the Galamsey fight.
Okay.
2, to retool the Ghana Armed Forces. And 3, to do politics differently. We need to put human lives, first, and ensure that every life matters. We become less politically partisan and look at things from very nationalistic view and support each other, pray for each other, be there for one another.
And I want to bring in Dominic Nitiwul on that. Dominic, what would you say is that ultimate tribute to them? How do you honor their memories? What's the best way to do that after Friday? Dominic, please unmute for me.
Very much. Evans, first of all, I want to say straight away that as much as possible, we should veer away from politics.
Okay.
It won't help us in this discussion because political actors have different views when it comes to some of these things and what they do and what they didn't. What role he played in politics, he didn't play in politics. Political actors, if you want to unite the nation, you are going to have a lot of people disagree with you in certain aspects.
Yeah.
What I say is that I'm concentrating on their work in the ministry, service to Ghana, and service generally across all boards.
I just have a minute. I mean, collectively, what should we do as a country to immortalize your memory?
You cannot allow the Air Force to be in the state in which they are. Even if we don't have resources to retool the entire Ghana Armed Forces, the Air Force must be retooled to the best of their ability. Also, the president must wage a war on Galamsey, and not what we are currently seeing. And 2, that all of us, not just the president, all of us must not play politics with Galamsey any longer. It happened in the past. We should never do it. We cannot win the war of Galamsey if we do politics. If one party is saying we'll release prisoners, another party is saying that we'll wage war, it's never going to succeed. So wage the war, unite the nation, retool the armed forces, make sure that we make sure that what has happened is not repeated in any field any longer. They are good people. They should not die in vain.
Yeah, I mean, and
don't let any pilot sit on an aircraft that we believe that we could have done better as a nation. Okay, let's get them new sets of equipment.
That is a powerful encapsulation of the important things we need to do. But Chairman Sabunsu, your thoughts too, a few seconds. What should be the ultimate sacrifice that indeed they've made this ultimate sacrifice? But what should we do as a country to immortalize their memory?
They all perished in the service of the country. Mm-hmm. They sacrificed their lives for the development of the country and also the upliftment of the lives of others. And I agree with those of them who have spoken ahead of me that what we need to do is to come together to win the fight against Galamsey. Second, in respect of retooling of the armed forces, James would remember, and indeed the former defense minister will remember, that I led an effort at Akosombo on 3 different occasions in pursuit of the retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces. And at a point in time, we're thinking of introducing a new tax to assist us as a nation in retooling the armed forces. And I think that the time has come for us to bring back those discussions to the front burner, even if we have to perhaps up the VAT by a certain percentage dedicated specifically to retooling the armed forces. We are an oasis of peace in West Africa, but increasingly these days our borders are coming under threat. What do? I think that we should put all effort together, devoid of partisanship, as we started doing earlier, come together to propose meaningful ways to retool the armed forces, even if, as I said, it has to come by way of upping VAT by a certain percentage and dedicating whatever that comes into the kitty for the armed forces. I think these are the two major things that I would want to add.
And may their souls rest in perfect peace. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, I'm grateful.
From